Chapter 1. The Night I Trusted Her. I never imagined betrayal would come wrapped in trust. We had always been open with each other, not just emotionally but even when it came to physical boundaries. We had two rules carved in stone: no close friends and nothing happens unless we both agree and are fully present. So when she asked if our friends could stay late that night while I went to bed early, I didn't hesitate. I was recovering from major surgery and needed rest. I told her, "You can make out. I don't care, but no hands beneath clothes. Clothes stay on." They were friends we'd shared dinners with, played board games with, even cried with. I never felt unsafe around them. Not until that night. I kissed her goodnight, climbed the stairs slowly, and let myself believe I was leaving them to harmless conversation. But when I woke up the next morning and realized she never came to bed, something inside me twisted. I grabbed my phone to check the living room camera. What I saw shattered everything I believed about us. On that screen, in our living room, my wife, the person I trusted most in the world, was having sex with both of them. While I lay upstairs, sleeping, recovering, believing I was safe, my hands started shaking. My vision blurred. I dropped the phone, ran to the bathroom, and leaned over the sink as my stomach turned violently. And even then, a part of me hoped I had imagined it. But I hadn't. Because when I stepped out of the bathroom, she was already in bed, smiling at me like nothing had happened. Chapter 2. The Apology That Never Came. I stood there, frozen in the doorway. She was lying under the blankets, scrolling on her phone like it was just another morning. Like nothing had happened. When she looked up, she smiled at me, that same warm, familiar smile I'd seen 1,000 times before. And for a moment I thought, maybe I was wrong. But I wasn't. I told her what I saw on the camera. Her face didn't change. No shock. No panic. No guilt. Just a shrug. "Oh," she said casually, "if **** ket up." Like she'd forgotten to take out the trash. Like she'd left the oven on. Not, "I shattered your trust." Not, "I crossed every line we ever set." I waited for more. For remorse. For an apology. For anything that said she understood what she'd done. But nothing came. Instead she got defensive. Angry. Violent. She slammed the bedroom door so hard the frame cracked. She punched one of our friends in the stomach when they tried to stop her from driving off in a panic. And then, she grabbed something sharp. Cut herself. Collapsed onto the floor. That was the moment I called for help. She was taken away in an ambulance. I was taken away by heartbreak. I packed a small bag and left for a friend's house. I needed space. But space is something she never gave me. She blew up my phone. Messages. Calls. Voice notes. Apologies that came too late, or maybe didn't come at all. I blocked her. And I sat with it. The pain. The betrayal. The reality that this woman, my person, had treated my boundaries like suggestions. I kept wondering, was this really the first time? Or just the first time I caught her? Chapter 3. Patterns I Didn't Want to See. The first night at my friend's house, I barely slept. I stared at the ceiling, piecing together every moment from the past few years, every red flag I painted white, every time I made excuses for her behavior. We had been in love, yes. But I had also been surviving her. My wife had always struggled with deep emotional wounds, unresolved trauma, and what I now understand as symptoms of BPD. She would spiral, emotionally intense, impulsive, destructive. And every time I tried to enforce a boundary, she'd fall into a dark place. Suicidal threats. Emotional collapse. And I'd fold. Because I loved her. Because I thought I could help her. Because I believed love meant staying no matter how much it hurt. But now, with distance between us and clarity finally settling in, I saw the truth. She hadn't just broken the rules that night. She had been breaking me piece by piece for years. I spoke with my therapist, with my mother, with my best friend. They helped me see what I was too close to admit. That love without respect is just self-destruction with a prettier name. Still, I hesitated. Because despite everything, I still loved her. How do you stop loving someone you once built a future with? And worse, how do you walk away from someone who's threatening not to survive without you? Chapter 4. Ending it with love. On Monday I made a choice. It wasn't easy. It wasn't sudden. But it was necessary. I decided to end my marriage. Not in anger. Not to punish her. But to finally choose myself. I didn't want to destroy her. I just couldn't let her destroy me anymore. So I reached out to her therapist to prepare them for what was coming. I needed support in place for her, even if she couldn't be that for me. I asked for guidance on how to break it gently, how to be clear but kind. Then I began preparing her transition. I offered her furniture, essentials, everything she would need to begin again. After all, I had bought it all. Because I still loved her. But love isn't supposed to be a prison. When I walked back into our home that night, I didn't raise my voice. I didn't accuse. I simply told her the truth. This marriage is over. Not just because of the infidelity, but because of everything you refused to face. She tried to explain. To rewrite what happened that night. But I had the footage. The truth. And her version didn't match. She gaslit. She cried. She threatened suicide. She talked about giving up her kids. And I stood still. I refused to be pulled back into the storm. For 2 hours she twisted every word, hoping I'd change my mind. But I didn't. Because I couldn't. And then came the moment I'd been dreading, the one conversation I couldn't rehearse. Chapter 5. The goodbye that broke me. The moment I had feared most was telling the kids. They weren't mine by blood, but they were mine in every way that mattered. I had tucked them in, helped with homework, cleaned up after sick nights, cheered from the sidelines. I had been there. The youngest is only 7. I worried what her little mind would connect, that somehow our separation was punishment for the chaos the night before. Kids see the world in strange, fragile shapes. But I didn't want to disappear like so many adults in her life already had. So I sat her down alongside her mom. I explained as gently as I could that sometimes, grown-ups can't stay together. That it wasn't her fault. That I loved her still. Her tears ripped through me. And when I saw the way she clung to me, I nearly broke. Later that day her mom reached out. She told me she was sorry. That no matter what, I'd always be welcome in their lives. That I could still see the kids whenever I wanted. That night I didn't cry alone. My friends surrounded me, poured me a drink, held my shaking hands, reminded me who I am without her. And for the first time in a long time, I believed them. I'm still heartbroken. Still healing. But I'm no longer lost. Because I finally chose to let go of the version of love that demanded my silence, my sacrifice, my soul. I don't know what comes next, but I know it will be mine. And this time, I won't be apologizing for choosing peace.